So, you have any advice for people who are thinking about getting into chickens?
Well, I think first and foremost, do some research, find out the things that you need to have in place before you get home with baby chicks. Because once you have these living, breathing little things on your person, it becomes like, oh my gosh, I've got to take care of these things very quickly. Normally, they would have a mother hen to be underneath her and get that warmth, but they can't survive very long unless they have that warmth. They also need to eat and drink right away. When they get home, they need to eat and drink right away. You need to watch them and make sure that they're eating and drinking because it's likely that they've gone through the mail. Like if you're getting a chick from the farm store, that they have been shipped from somewhere. So they've already been through a pretty stressful experience. And baby chicks, when they hatch from the egg, they've got about 48 hours before they need to eat and drink. Because if you think about it, you've got a mother hen, she's got a clutch of eggs. Once those eggs start hatching, it's going to be a couple days that she's sitting on the nest while all of the chicks hatch. It's kind of like kids, like babies, like human babies. It's not like 9 months to the T and the baby comes out, Some kids
Right.
are early, some kids are late,
Mhm.
it really, there's some variation there. So because of that, the baby chicks, when they hatch, they have some time where they're just absorbing the nutrients from the yolk from inside the egg. They're still absorbing that. So they don't need to get to food and water right away. But by the time they get to you, they've already exhausted that time. So if they may have been eating and drinking at the farm store, maybe not. You've got to make sure that they're eating and drinking right when they come home. I think it's really good to do research and to find out what you need. But I also don't want people to get really down that rabbit hole of research because there is a lot of information online and some of it is conflicting. You can get overwhelmed and you can start to think, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do, this sounds like a lot. I don't know if I can do this. And you absolutely can do it.
Mhm.
Just remember, human beings have been keeping chickens for literally thousands of years. This
Mhm.
is something that is within us. It's in all of our histories. If you go back a generation or two in your family, you're going to find chickens.
Mhm. Yep.
So remember that and don't try hard not to overcomplicate things because when you do that, that's when you start to get confused. If you find somebody online or find a book or something that you resonate with, then stick with that and that will be your reference guide going through it. But right now is the best time to get baby chicks because we're going into spring and you don't like there's a reason why mother hens hatch out babies in the spring
Mhm.
because the springtime is a time where food is plentiful. It's a time when the weather is cooperative. All these things that are going to make it easier for you to raise these baby chicks and to put them outside when they're fully feathered at 6 to 8 weeks. If you get them in the off season, then when they're fully feathered, it might, if it's like 40 degrees below outside, you can't just put them outside.
Right.
Like, then you have
Yeah.
to think about how am I gonna do this? Do I have to keep them inside longer? Do I need to offer supplemental heat? All this stuff
Mhm.
that is complicated for especially for a first time chicken keeper.